Hi, everyone. I'm Ray Richmond, and I'm welcoming Erica Lipez from the Hulu historical drama We Were the Lucky Ones to our TV Showrunners Meet the Experts panel. The limited series depicts the Holocaust from the perspective of a single family of Polish Jews before, during, and after the war, and is based on the best-selling 2017 novel. Erica, what kind of pressure did you feel overseeing the adaptation of such a personal story about real-life people?
I felt a lot of pressure. But it was also, I mean, it was a privilege to be able to do it. It was, when I read Georgia's book, I think I read it in about 24 hours. And it was, I think, one of the most incredible stories I had ever read, one of the most incredible family stories, as someone, being Jewish myself, and feeling like I thought I had a pretty good education about the Holocaust. When I read George's book, I felt like through the lens of this family, we saw parts of the Holocaust that I had never known about before, never seen before. And it felt like a really big opportunity. But I had a moment of panic before I said yes, because I knew if we got a chance to make it, it would be the hardest thing I ever did. But luckily for me, I had Georgia with me every step of the way. She was in the writer's room. She was with us on set. And I think for me, doing a story that is so personal, it really is her family story. And she is very close with her family. It felt like we had to do a very authentic portrayal of that story, and really honor what she put down in writing herself. And she took 10 years to research that book. She wrote an incredible novel. It made for the most amazing spine for a TV series. So it was in some ways an easy book to adapt because she gave us so much.
I would imagine, though, that that could be both blessing and curse, Erica, that you're sitting, with the author side by side. It's like the good news is right, she's right there. The bad news is she's right there. I mean, that you have to, that mom is looking over your shoulder, so to speak. What was your working relationship like with Georgia?
I think you have to meet Georgia Hunter and you'll understand why it is only a gift. I mean, she's just an amazing person. She's an amazing artist, writer, and human being. And so she approached the adaptation with a lot of generosity too. I mean, she acknowledged like she did not have experience with television, but I think she in some ways has the soul of a TV writer because her book is written with a lot of propulsion and pace and these cliffhangers that really lend themselves to those rises and falls of storytelling that you see in television. But she was also, I think we had discussions early on that, one of the big things that would have to happen in taking it from page to screen is, we don't have the privilege of looking inside people's heads in the way you do in a narrative. And so realizing those tensions between characters and the romances, the messiness of sibling relationships, parent-children relationships, we all felt really strongly that these needed to be people that loved each other, that annoyed each other, that had big fights, small fights. And she was so game about all of that. I think we used her as our gut check if we were sort of felt like we were going a little too far with something, and she would let us know. But for the most part, I think she just was fully open to us realizing these people on screen. And it was very gratifying when she was on set. And she was sort of seeing these people come to life, that these family members that she's imagined and never was able to meet herself. And she really felt like that we had done them justice. So that was, of course, a huge relief.
I'll bet. But I
Yeah.
mean, the whole thing, Erica, is just so powerful, so beautifully. As a Jew myself, I'm so aware of Holocaust stories, and I'd never seen a project that spans, life before, during, and after. And you know, I my tears were flowing at the end. What was your biggest challenge in covering the scope of so much time and territory?
Yeah, I mean, I think the opportunity of the piece was exactly what you said. It covers 9 years, four continents. We're before the war. I think a lot of times these stories from this time really focus on the time in which the Americans get involved in the war, and we sort of see from that point on, and we don't really see how an event like the Holocaust came to be, which I think was really the opportunity of this piece, and then the aftermath of the war ending. But it, you know, of course, I realize that that's a lot of sprawl in a TV show. You don't typically follow 12 characters. You don't go to all those different locations. Like, just even from a budget perspective, you typically have your standing sets and you go back to them. And we had to realize a show about a family that part of the nature of their survival is they kept moving. So every episode they were going somewhere else. And it was a giant puzzle. I mean, I think the biggest thing about it was a huge team effort, because I think if I had felt like I was tackling that alone, I would have just crumbled under the task. But it was a huge team effort between our designers, our writing team, our directors. And I think what we always used as our guiding force was the lens of the story is really intimate. It's a big in scope, but intimate in lens. It's from the family's perspective. We never see more than what the family sees. And that's also, I think, how it doesn't just become what could feel like a history lesson, which we really did not want the show to feel like. So we never see beyond the scope of the family, and we don't sort of have that perspective of history to look back on that we do now. We really know what the family knows. And I think that kept the center of the show for us.
Ultimately, we're treated to a happy ending. But
Yeah.
did this family really consider themselves lucky ones? I mean, I guess in the sense that they survived,
Yeah.
but it wasn't easy. My gosh. Um,
No.
but almost an ironic title.
I think that's the brilliance of Georgia's title. And I would say one of my weaknesses as a writer is coming up with a title. So I was really thrilled when this project came with a great one. But I think there's deep irony in that title. I mean, the title is actually a tribute to what one of Georgia's relatives, Felicia, who is the baby born at the start of the series, and survives at a family reunion. She looked around the table and Georgia heard her say, look at us all here. We were the lucky ones. And so I think they really did feel that way. They really did feel that they were lucky. They say that, the family still says that. They say that often. But I think when you watch the show, you have to see the irony in that title, because to survive means that you have survived the absolute unthinkable. And you also, surviving means you have to carry the burden of what you witnessed and those who did not make it. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot of irony embedded in that title.
How important was it for you to cast Jewish actors? And were all the members of your cast Jews?
Yeah, I mean the main the family, the spouses, the children, it was really important to us. It felt like an opportunity. I think Tommy Kail, our brilliant director of the first and last episode and one of the EPs on the show, we really felt like, along with our casting director, Fiona Weir, that we wanted this it to feel like a family, to feel like an authentic family. I think we felt there was a real opportunity with this series to have an all Jewish ensemble. But honestly, it really wasn't. I would not say it was hard to pull off. I think there were we had this. We always said we wanted to find actors who were running towards this project, who felt something within themselves, some need within themselves to be part of this story, to tell this story. And so we took our time in the casting process, and we found a group of actors who just wanted to be there and brought everything and every piece of themselves and something really personal to the project. And it was, I think I underestimated how magical it would feel to. I mean, we had a diversity of Jews within our cast, but particularly when we were realizing some of those big family scenes, some of the religious holidays around the table, Rosh Hashanah, Passover, it it was really lively to be around the table with a group of Jewish actors. Everyone had their own opinions, their own traditions they were bringing, their thoughts about what food, what prayers, and it just made for a pretty magical experience. And I think we're proud of that part of the
Oh,
series.
I wish I was at that Passover. Wow, that sounds great.
It was good.
We're actually gonna wrap things there. All 8 episodes of We Were the Lucky Ones stream over Hulu. Erica Lipez, best of luck to you this Emmy season, and thanks for joining us at Gold Derby.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.